Hit was one of my favourite characters that were introduced in Dragon Ball Super, but I feel like a lot more could be done with his character, and that's what we're going to discuss today. But first, I want to talk about why I find Hit to be such an interesting character. And that's mainly because we know so little about him. I mean, yeah, sure, we know that he's an assassin, he's lived around 1,000 years, and he's pretty damn good at his job. But other than that, we don't really have much backstory on Hit, and I'm assuming that's just a lazy decision on the writing part. They just didn't really want to come up with one, or, maybe they didn't really have one in mind. Or maybe it even works better that he doesn't have a backstory, but I feel like making one is a pretty damn good opportunity.
But Hit's lack of backstory isn't the only reason he's interesting. Hell, his powers are really unique. I mean, the only person to ever do it before in Dragon Ball was Goldo, and I mean, it's not that he didn't do it well, it's just that, well, he was Goldo, So Hit's thing is pretty unique, and I feel like stories told from Hit's perspective would be really cool to see. I mean, even Jocko got his own manga, so seeing one from Hit's perspective would, it'd be an improvement from Jocko, I guess. But I feel like there's really a lot of cool stories that can be told from there, and that's what we're going to discuss. So starting off, how would I think a Hit solo manga would go? Well, I feel like it'd definitely have to focus on his work as an assassin, not any sort of external story. I feel like that should be the main focus. And we did get a little hint of that in Dragon Ball Super. There's two scenes, or two things that occur that kind of shows a little bit of what that was like. One of those being when Hit hunts down Frost. That was pretty cool to see, that whole little fight, that scuffle. And then when Hit actually shows off his powers and assassinates his target. I can't even remember what it was. It was like some weird mob boss alien dude. But even still, that episode was cool because it really showcased how Hit works. And I feel like giving Hit his own character arc, or giving him more depth as a character while also showing us some cool scenes of him working as an assassin, I feel like that would work really well. I understand Dragon Ball is meant to be action, but it could easily deviate, get rid of some of the action elements and just have the whole stealth element going on. I don't know, I feel like it'd work pretty well. People would probably be interested in it. I mean, Hit is a really intriguing character. Dragon Ball Super introduced quite a few. Beerus, Jiren, all those characters were pretty damn interesting. But Hit really stands out to me as one of the more complex ones. I feel like he could have a really interesting backstory. I mean, we got 1,000 years of Hit's life to work with, so at any point in there, you could make a story, or you could sort of have the story start from Hit currently. You could involve other Dragon Ball characters. There's really, honestly, a lot of cool stuff that could happen. I doubt it would happen in the actual Dragon Ball manga that's still going on right now. I mean, the current arc is Ultra Instinct versus Beast Gohan, so Hit doesn't really fit in the story there right now, and probably won't do, honestly. I wouldn't even be surprised if we don't see him again, but it would be pretty cool to get some form of content from characters that we don't often see. So getting a Hit spin-off manga, it would be really cool. I feel like it would be really enjoyable. And I guess, you could say that about a lot of characters. There's a lot of underused characters in the show, but I don't know, something about Hit speaks out to me, especially the way that throughout just Dragon Ball Super, his powers changed so much, and he evolved so much over such a short space of time. I feel like that could make for some really interesting storytelling. I mean, hell, just from the Universe 6 arc to the Tournament of Power, he developed a whole new technique. Even just in the Universe 6 tournament, he improved his powers drastically. So that whole thing, I feel like there could be some drastic stakes. They could easily make a really interesting plotline out of it, and I don't know, I feel like it also could be set in Universe 6, obviously, which would make for pretty interesting storytelling. This whole thing taking place in a different universe on different planets, following him around as he's tracking different targets and stuff. I feel like it has really, really cool potential. A lot more than some other characters. Making a Beerus solo manga would obviously be interesting, and people would obviously want that. But I feel like Hit as a character, him being more mysterious and having these cool techniques, it really opens him up as a better choice for having their own spin-off thing. I think he'd work better off with his own him being a main character than a lot of other characters would. Like, for example, a Krillin solo manga really doesn't really make sense, because Krillin works best as like a secondary character. So obviously Krillin getting his own thing would be really cool, but yeah, I don't think it'd work as well as characters like Hit. And yeah, that's my thoughts on why Hit as a character has genuinely unrivaled potential in the show. I mean, lots of other characters have wasted potential, sure, but I think characters like Tien are sort of past the point now where they should have already received attention in the story, you know? Hit's in a prime point now. He's like a relatively newly introduced character. This is the perfect point to give him his own story, you know, like boost fan opinions of him. Make an interesting story out of the characters that you introduce, you know? A lot of these characters in Dragon Ball just get wasted or sidelined or only showed for a little bit of time. Hit as a character really represents like what we could explore with Dragon Ball, you know, the whole thing with other universes, the whole thing with like just life in the Dragon Ball universe away from planet destroying action, just this guy with a really cool job, really cool nickname, really cool powers, you know, and I think that'd be really fun to explore. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I've got a couple more videos coming up soon. The part 3 to villain designs, I'll get working on that. We got a How Evil Is Boo, but that'll probably be split into like 3 parts. And then I'm kind of torn on this. I really want to make a review of the new Walking Dead show, but I'm conscious that every other video I've made up until now has been about Dragon Ball, so I'm not sure how well that will go down, but I still am really interested in making that, so I probably will, just see how it goes, you know. And yeah, that's about it for today. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff, and yeah, thank you. I'll see you in a bit.
Bye.